Tonight on KVR News,
we have your UT student government results.
See what UT is doing to promote awareness on Public Health Week.
And find which fund on campus is helping students recover from their emergencies.
You're watching KVR News, your leader for live, local UT coverage.
Broadcasting live from the Texas Student Television Studios at the University of Texas. You're watching KVR News at 9, Austin's leader for live local UT coverage. Your news starts right now.
Good evening and welcome back to KVR News for Monday, April 4th. I'm Jina Chung.
And I'm Romina Leon. Thanks for joining us.
Several media organizations released extensive information about offshore bank accounts in reports known as the Panama Papers. These documents about the Mossack Fonseca law firm reveal the secret financial holdings of world leaders, politicians, public officials, and corporations.
The Panama Papers provide insight on tax evasion and money laundering that has taken place worldwide over the last 40 years. World leaders such as Russian President Vladimir Putin and Iceland's Prime Minister Sigmundur Gunnlaugsson are under scrutiny for their ties to the offshore bank accounts.
Today, Greece began to deport migrants and refugees by placing them on boats bound for Turkey. The deportations are part of a controversial European Union plan to limit the amount of migration to Europe. This plan allows Greece to send refugees back to Turkey if their request for asylum was not accepted. In Europe, this past weekend, violent clashes erupted in Greek refugee camps in response to Greece's actions. A large percentage of the refugees are from Syria. United Nations officials have called the EU plan illegal and inhumane. Brazil is set to host the 2016 Olympics, but the country faces several challenges. Political unrest threatens the area's safety, and economic collapse is impacting the construction speed of Olympic facilities. In addition, the risk of the Zika virus is discouraging for both athletes and viewers. With the Games only 4 months away and only half of the tickets sold, Brazil's Minister of Sports, Ricardo Leiter, is looking for solutions. In the coming months, the remaining tickets will be distributed to public school children to fill the empty seats.
After a third and final Executive Alliance election, Kevin Helgren and Viviana Kim were named UT's 2016-2017 Student Body President and Vice President. Helgren and Kim won a total of 51.03% of the student vote in a runoff election against Kayleen Dimitrov and Jessie Guadiana. Voter turnout unexpectedly increased from the previous election. Helgren and Kim will begin their term immediately during tomorrow's student government meeting. Their first plan is to change the culture of student government that led to the turmoil during this election season.
By the conclusion of our first day in office, we will have established an internal reformation committee, and that committee is going to be comprised of both veterans of and newcomers to student government, and that committee will work extensively throughout the entire year to make sure that the culture of student government just continues to move in the positive direction.
National Public Health Week started today. Come to UT's campus. Texas Public Health is holding a week-long event dedicated to raising awareness about health issues. It started off a carnival featuring a blood donation truck to introduce students to the importance of health screenings. Some students are not as concerned about their health because they believe they are young and won't get sick. However, the coordinator of the event believes students need to be proactive in monitoring their well-being.
If you are aware of your health right now and this way to prevent certain issues from coming up later and how to take care of yourself, then it's better off in the long run from your care will be less expensive, you'll have less issues crop up.
A 45-day campaign by Student Emergency Services launches its way to UT. Our Viviana Castaneda reports on how the Student Emergency Fund gives students with urgent needs a helping hand at no cost.
The Student Emergency Fund collaborates with UT's official crowdfunding platform Hornraiser to help students in need.
The first thing it provided was food. I got to walk out of there with a couple of H-E-B gift cards that allowed me to eat for the week. And then it also helped pay my electricity bill, which was really great.
With annual donations made by the Texas Parents Association, the fund is able to continue their goal of helping students strive through any temporary crisis they may be going through.
When you look at what Student Emergency Services offers to students, it really fits that need that parents would want to have of enhancing the community for the students, knowing that there's a place for them to seek help.
It's students like Jasmine whose trips to the grocery store became a simpler task by receiving help from the fund. By providing her with gift cards, Jasmine was able to buy all the necessities she needed in no time.
It also provided support, just knowing that they were there for me and that I had somebody I could talk to about this and ask for help was incredible.
To see that type of impact, to see how we've been able to support them in different ways, personally, financially, and just to be a resource to them is something that is very special for all of us.
The fund is close to reaching $2,000, and with 33 days left in the campaign, their goal of $10,000 is hoping to be reached. Viviana Castaneda, KVR News.
A new first-of-its-kind mental health and crisis center will open in Southeast Austin spring of 2017. The idea for the center came about late after officials realized there was a lack of access to emergency psychiatric sources. According to Judge Guy Herman of the Center for Mental Health and Crisis Care, the center will serve as an alternative to inpatient psychiatric hospitals and emergency rooms. The center will provide mental health assessment, stabilization, and treatment for patients in the first year of opening. An estimated 1,460 patients will be served.
This past Saturday, Community First Village opened in East Austin. The community, which was built for the homeless, has 140 micro homes. The rent for each home is between $225 to $360 a month. The 27 acres of land have a medical center, a chapel, and a space for movie nights. While these homes are only available for the homeless, anyone can sign up to work several areas.
Coming up next, a further look into the new app students and Austinites are using,
and a recap on the Holy 2016 Fest. Stay tuned for more KVR News.
You're watching KVR News at 9. Your campus, your news.
Austin couple Daniel and Taylor Mahaffey were 20 weeks pregnant when they learned that a complication meant their baby had no chance of survival. Taylor's cervix had prematurely dilated and their son's legs were already emerging. Despite several emergency procedures, doctors told that Mahaffey's they would have to deliver the baby because of the state's fatal pain law. Doctors could not induce labor because the mother's life was not at risk and the baby had a heartbeat. Texas is one of 12 states that bans abortions after 20 weeks. The parents had to wait until Taylor's water broke and she delivered. The U.S. Supreme Court had upheld the one person, one vote principle to draw legislative districts that are roughly equal in population. The 8-0 ruling is favorable to the legislators who represent districts with significant populations of people that are ineligible to vote, like children and non-U.S. citizens. The ruling goes against the case brought to the Supreme Court last year by 2 Texan voters after arguing that the legislative districts of Texas should be divided by the number of eligible voters instead of the total population. Although the justices did not rule basing district sizes on eligible voter populations as unconstitutional, they have established that Texas's method of dividing the districts by total populations is the standard.
A study released from National Center for Education Statistics showed that from 2003 to 2013, the gap in graduation rates between white and minority students has been widening. UT has been implementing several institutional improvements over the last several years. However, many believe that these improvements target white students over African American and Native American students. University leaders are discussing the next step for UT policies in order to create more progress in minority graduation rates. This Saturday, the Hindu Students Association at UT held its Holi 2016 event. The celebration welcomes the spring season and hopes to, quote, connect cultures through color. The festival is widely celebrated by Indians and Hindus all around the world and shines light on the positivity, creativity, and oneness among all people. At the Holi event, colored powder is playfully thrown or rang at each other to bring a sense of unity. You've seen it on the drag, a mysterious white bus with signs inviting people into the 5th dimension. The 5th Dimension mobile bookstore is open Wednesdays through Saturdays across from the University of Texas. Owner Suki McMahon opened the bookmobile with her husband in 2014. Her collection features science fiction, horror, and fantasy stories. She cycles in 3,500 new titles every month from a collection of 100,000 books. McMahon brought her books from the estate of a Texas Tech professor and decided to give up her career to share her passion for sci-fi with others.
For a while I was a university adjunct, and that was fun and great, but I just wanted to share them in a different way, not necessarily teach them. I actually learned a lot more from my customers, you know. I feel like I'm getting my PhD in sci-fi.
The mobile bookstore is open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the drag. For more information, find them online at www.5dbooks.com.
UT student Rachel Grabert has created an app that can help with skin cancer diagnosis. The app asks 10 questions and examines uploaded images, such as suspicious mole. Then, the app gives you the probability of the mole being skin cancer. People can store pictures of their moles to see if there are any changes over time. This is a test that can be taken in the comfort of one's home. Grabert hopes the app can become people's first go-to, since so many people today own a smartphone. There is a new app that allows you to pay for parking through your phone. The app ParkX launched this past month in West Campus and charges a 25-cent convenience fee per transaction. The app sends you an alert when your parking meter is about to expire, and you can add more time wherever you are. Even if your paper sticker has expired, parking attendants are able to look up your outdated time through your license plate number. If you don't own a smartphone, you can still use the service by texting or calling the word park.
I think it's a really great idea since everyone has a smartphone nowadays, and it makes it a lot easier than going and printing off a ticket because they can fall off, and it just makes it a lot easier as a whole for the users.
Well, the weather has been getting warmer the past couple of days. You know, last week we had some rain and wind, but it seems like those hot temperatures never fail to come back.
It sure has been. I do have to say that today was a nice day, even though we had some warm temperatures. But it was nice to walk around campus with that breeze.
Yes, well, our Cinnamon Cornell has our forecast for this week. Cinnamon, will we continue to see some hot temperatures?
I'll have more on this after the break. Stay tuned.
Have a news tip or story idea? Call the KVR News Tip Line, 475-8181.
Welcome back to KVR News. It looks like we're going to see a mix of cool and hot temps, plus some showers later on this week. But let's not allow that to get in the way of your plans for the weekend. Tonight we have a low of 55 degrees with winds close to 10 miles per hour. So keep a light jacket handy if you're staying on campus for a late night study session. And for tomorrow, the sun will be shining bright at a near 82 degrees, and by the night, we'll see those temps drop at a low of 58 degrees. Wednesday and Thursday will be warmer with temperatures at around 80 degrees, and for the nighttime, temperatures will continue to stay cool for both days in the low 50s. And as we hit our favorite day of the week, Friday, we'll have a high near 78 degrees. It'll be a bit humid with low winds, so ladies, be sure to keep your hairdos up. And getting to this weekend, Saturday will continue to stay warm with a high of 78 degrees. For those runners out there, it looks like you'll have a nice weather for the Longhorn Run, and by Sunday, we'll see a slight chance of rain. We have a 20% chance of showers, so keep that umbrella and raincoat nearby as you head out the door. Live in the Weather Center, Cinnamon Cornell, KVR News.
Thanks, Cinnamon.
College Press Box's Matthew Adams will be in the studio to talk Longhorn sports after the break. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to KVR News.
Now, KVR News at 9 Sports.
Welcome back to KVR News. I'm College Press Box's Matthew Adams. Elite performances and broken records were everywhere at the Texas Relays this weekend. The four-day meet finished with this Saturday and saw over 7,500 athletes, a record number for the meet's 89th season. Sean Barber, 2015 NCAA champion and Texas Relays record holder, set the top outdoor mark in the world for 2016 with a jump of 5.91 meters in the men's elite pole vault division. The boys' 4x800 team from Houston Strake Jesuit ran a 7.458 to break a record from 1980, and numerous records were elsewhere. Even Olympic athletes were out, including Morgan Goodwin, who ran a 13 flat to win the women's individual 100-meter hurdles.
So Matthew, at the relays there was lots of highs and lows. Texas baseball has also had lots of highs and lows. This weekend was a low, losing 2-3 to Oklahoma. So moving forward, what does Texas need to do in order to be successful in the coming weeks?
Texas is going to have to really settle down on some of the errors they're making. This is overall, there's a lot of talent on this team. There's a lot of pitching depth and a lot of hitting depth with the Clemens brothers and even Travis Jones. The problem is that defensively, they just can't seem to keep the other team from not hitting. They're giving up too many runs. They're allowing too many walks, too many just simple errors that are costing them these very close games. So going forward, particularly heading into the rest of the Big 12 Conference, which will be more difficult than Oklahoma, this is something that they'll have to address going forward.
All right, well, thanks, Matthew. And now our Ashley Tsao has your entertainment news. How's the celebrity world going, Ashley?
Well, I have a recap of the Academy of Country Music Awards, find out why many are upset about a new Smithsonian exhibit, and Caitlyn Jenner makes her transition from reality TV to a scripted drama. I'll have all this after the break.
You're watching KVR News at 9. Your campus, your news.
The 51st Annual Academy of Country Music Awards kicked off last night in Las Vegas. Dierks Bentley and Luke Bryan co-hosted the event with performers throughout the night such as Nick Jonas and Dolly Parton. Chris Stapleton stole the show with 6 awards, including Male Vocalist of the Year and Album of the Year. Miranda Lambert took home Female Vocalist for the 7th consecutive year, along with Vocal Event of the Year. And Jason Aldean took the cake with Entertainer of the Year. A new Smithsonian exhibit named the National Museum of African American History and Culture will open in Washington this September. The exhibit has been criticized for its plans to include artifacts from Bill Cosby's career in the midst of his sexual assault scandal. Cosby's work will be displayed in the exhibition called Taking the Stage that shows the history of African American film, theater, and television. The museum says the exhibition is not a celebration of the star, but rather to acknowledge his role among many others in American entertainment. The museum will acknowledge this scandal, but will not remove the Cosby exhibition to show the history in its full form. Caitlyn Jenner is joining the cast of the acclaimed Amazon streaming series Transparent. Jenner will make her debut in the show's 3rd season. The show's creator and executive producer Jill Soloway revealed the news at 2016 GLAAD Media Awards in Los Angeles on Sunday. Transparent focuses on a transgender woman, Jeffrey Tambor, and her relationship with her family and friends. This will mark Jenner's first scripted acting role in 2 years. Well, that's all for your entertainment news. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates at KVR News ENT.
Thanks, Ashley, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jina. For news and weather updates throughout the week, you can follow us on Twitter at KVR News.
And I'm Romina Leon. Stay tuned for College Press Box up next on Texas Student Television. Have a great night.